Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten here, bringing you a ranking of the Nancy Drew games according to my personal preference. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the channel, you know that I've done reviews for every single Nancy Drew game in the series and assigned each game a score out of 50 points. For those reviews, I tried to be as objective as possible, taking into account the story, the look of each game, and really the overall experience, considering the diverse group of detectives that might play each game. I'll link the playlist for all of those reviews in the description box down below, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video where I compile all of those grades into one, and then kind of go through them to compare the objective scores. Today, however, I will be ranking the games based on which ones I personally most love to play. When I look at the list of games and their objective scores, I can definitely see some similarities with my list, but there are also some pretty noticeable differences. And keep in mind that my ranking is based on the things that I find most enjoyable in a game, and that everyone has different opinions, so I am by no means saying that this is a definitive list of the best Nancy Drew games, but it is a definitive list of the ones that I find myself playing and loving the most, and the ones that I would most recommend as a player personally. So when I consider the games that I most love to play, I end up looking for a few different things. First and most importantly, is the plot strong and does the game present a quality mystery? I'm willing to overlook some maybe clunky animation, maybe some poor navigation, if the storyline is really high quality. Secondly, are there twists, turns, or moments of scare factor that make the game exciting? Is there something unique about the game? Are there twists and turns that are really going to keep me invested in the game, even through multiple replays? Third, how much does the game allow me to explore and discover clues? I'm definitely a location person, and I like to uncover things like a real detective. I don't want my hand held throughout the whole way. And four, what are my connections and feelings to the game? I definitely recognize that nostalgia is going to influence this ranking at least a little bit. It's hard to take that away when you're ranking games by personal preference. So some of these games that are ranked higher are definitely ones that are very nostalgic to me and that I connect to very personally. So, without further ado, starting at the very bottom, here is how I would rank the Nancy Drew games. Oh, and also mild plot spoilers may be included, but no major spoilers that would detract from your gameplay experience. Next. Number 32, The Shattered Medallion. The plot is messy, the reveal of Sunny June was poorly done, the game show has no actual stakes, the graphics were stagnant, there were too many puzzles, and the ending is rough. This might honestly be the only Nancy Drew game that I could legitimately call bad. Number 31, Ransom of the Seven Ships. There are no actual suspects, and the culprit reveal is lame. The vast number of puzzles overshadowed any semblance of plot. The monkeys made me feel violent, and the game design relies too heavily on bird's eye views. Next. Number 30, The Creature of Kapu Cave. The characters are annoying, and not in a good way where I think they were actually developed to be annoying. The game focuses more on fishing and collecting shells than actually exploring or finding clues. The plot is messy and only clarified at the end of the game, and they totally messed up Frank and Joe. No thanks. Number 29, Trail of the Twister. Despite being a game about tornadoes, there was no feeling of danger or intrigue. The characters are boring and kind of annoying, except for Pa. Love you, Pa. The puzzles drive me up the wall and ultimately have no point because they're all chores. And the actual mystery itself isn't even that interesting. Number 28, Labyrinth of Lies. The setting is truly absurd and poorly justified. The culprit reveal is overly dramatic to the point where it feels very silly. There are way too many puzzles on a theater set, and I wanted to like the characters, but I just didn't. Number 27, Secrets Can Kill and Secrets Can Kill Remastered. I appreciate the first game in the series for kicking things off, and I appreciate the remastered version for celebrating the wonderful series, but the formula just wasn't working yet. There's weirdly tropey characters, an all too obvious culprit, a really simplistic design, and a lack of interesting events that really place these two towards the bottom. Number 26, Tomb of the Lost Queen. Beautifully designed, but the plot feels too contrived, the ending is real dumb, and I can never really connect with the characters. The puzzles are heavy, but mostly make sense given the location, but it just feels like we could have gotten more story-wise from this one, which made it kind of disappointing overall. Number 25, The Silent Spy. It has a lovely story relating to Nancy's mom, but then it's overshadowed by the spy plotline and the crummy culprit. Also, the superficial exploration and the amount of time spent reading instead of actually finding clues makes this game look exciting on the surface, but actually kind of boring on replays. Number 24, Secret of the Old Clock. A unique idea packaged in an overly simplistic casing. I really enjoy the atmosphere, location, and idea of this mystery, but the characters are painfully bland. The game is way too easy. There's an excessive amount of driving around Titusville, and the intersection of different plots didn't work nearly as well as it could have. Also, the mini golf game can go jump off a cliff. Number 23, The Captive Curse. Reasonably spooky and beautifully designed, but it leaves way too many questions unanswered, and not in a good, open-ended, interpret this how you want kind of way. It overcomplicates itself, and the character interaction is sometimes a little repetitive, but overall this one can be pretty fun if I'm in the right mood. Number 22, Stay Tuned for Danger. A classic game with a neat plot idea and an amazing culprit reveal. But being only the second game in the series, it suffers from clunky navigation and gameplay, characters that look like clay dolls, and an overall lack of interesting game features like puzzles or unexpected twists. Not bad, but the formula wasn't quite perfected just yet. Number 21, The Phantom of Venice. A favorite for many, but I found it kind of boring because the game made it so that I was always told what to do. Exploration was pretty superficial, and enjoyable character interaction was lacking. I can't deny, though, that the setting is spectacular, and there are some pretty fun experiences playing as a sort of spy. Number 20, The Haunting of Castle Malloy. Stunning location, great exploration, and some really fun moments of scare factor, but the game's plot isn't as cohesive as it should be, and there could have been more characters. The puzzles can also get pretty overwhelming, especially towards the end of the game. Number 19, The Haunted Carousel. Honestly, a fun, light, and cute little game with a great atmosphere, but too easy and simplistic overall. The characters are fine, but definitely forgettable, and the exploration is fine, but too limited. I enjoy it, but it doesn't blow my mind in any way. Number 18, Legend of the Crystal Skull. Fun characters, great atmosphere, unique plot idea, and some cool moments of subtle scare factor. But the puzzles can definitely start to feel pretty tedious after a while. Also, not a huge fan of the bird's eye view cemetery exploration. Solid, but could have been a little more well-rounded. Number 17, The White Wolf of Icicle Creek. I love the location. Isis is amazing, and I legit love cooking at the lodge. I think we also got a decent amount of exploration in this one, and the characters, they're pretty decent too. The culprit definitely could have been more interesting, and the plot could have been more tightly knit, but this one is pretty solid. Number 16, Danger by Design. Beautiful music, beautiful locations, and feels more open and full of opportunity than Phantom of Venice, despite their similarities in design. A couple of the characters are very compelling, but others are really boring. The story itself has some nice twists and turns, but I wish the ending was a little more cohesive. Still though, a fun and interesting game. Number 15, Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Great exploration, super educational, and feels pretty realistic. I enjoyed the flow of the game a lot, and some of the character interaction was pretty decent, though I feel like the characters could have been fleshed out quite a bit more. Overall, it's light, it's interesting, and the ending is kinda neat. Number 14, Alibi in Ashes. I loved seeing River Heights, and the story idea was really fun and unique. The characters had lots of neat secrets and were fun to interact with, and the police way of solving mysteries was fun to explore. The culprit was way too easy to guess, the game relies too much on third-person navigation, and switching characters got a little messy, but this is a great homage to Nancy and a really fun game overall. Number 13, Shadow at the Water's Edge. Some of the best scare factor in the whole series, coupled with a beautiful setting and an extremely interesting plot. The characters were intriguing overall, and the puzzles weren't too bad, but they definitely get overwhelming after a while and take an absurd amount of time, particularly at the end. Can't beat that Yuri, though. Number 12, The Deadly Device. A classic murder mystery, fully fleshed out location, compelling characters, and a beautiful design. Lots of positives in this one, and it's definitely exciting to play, but the culprit was too easy to guess, and the sheer amount of science puzzles can be a little daunting at times. Still though, I think this one is often underrated. Number 11, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. We're now getting to the point where I almost have only positive things to say. This game has an awesome cast of characters, expertly portrayed the Hardy Boys, had a compelling story, a beautiful setting that changes throughout the game, and the perfect amount of puzzles. I have very few complaints with this game, except that I think the culprit's motivation could have been a little stronger. Woo woo! Number 10, Treasure in the Royal Tower. A classic game with a stunning location that we can fully explore, unique and memorable characters, and some fun twists and turns. The real strength of this game, though, lies in the character subplots, in my opinion. My only problem is that it's a bit too easy and a bit too short. Number 9, Message in Haunted Mansion. Another classic with a beautiful location, amazing music, awesome scare factor, and some more killer character subplots. I love the execution of this game, but the overall navigation can be off and things can easily be missed if you're going too quickly. I do also wish that the characters didn't look like clay people, but hey, it was made in 2000, so I can't fault it too much. Number 8, Danger on Deception Island. Love the music and overall atmosphere of this game, the drama between the characters, and the excellent way that events unfold in the game to keep things interesting. The exploration is on point, and the characters are pretty developed overall, but I would have loved even more from them. Still though, this game is wonderful. Number 7, The Secret of Shadow Ranch. I didn't love this game the first time I played it, but its story and characters have really grown on me over the years. The exploration is great, the culprit reveal is awesome. It has the perfect amount of puzzles, and the historical backstory is written so well and so nicely integrated into the modern mystery. A couple characters could have had more depth, but I've come to really love this one. Number 6, Curse of Blackmore Manor. A spooky English manor with tons of exploration, a historical backstory to uncover that's centuries old, awesome scare factor, and challenging but not overwhelming puzzles. This game really hits the atmosphere perfectly on the head and brings me so much joy when I play it. The characters could have been more interesting, but the story hooks me every time. Number 5, Sea of Darkness. The most recent Nancy Drew game really impressed me, with its cast of vibrant, compelling characters, its fully realized and exciting locations to explore, its plot that moves and changes as the mystery progresses, and its stunning design and music. That gentle snow falling, yes! Number 4, The Final Scene. My very first Nancy Drew mystery, which means that it holds a very special place in my heart. I was blown away by the excitement that this case offered. The heart-pumping adrenaline, the stunning location to explore, the interesting characters, and the completely unexpected culprit reveal. This game made me fall in love with the series, and will always be one of my favorites. Number 3, Ghost of Thornton Hall. Deep, dramatic, complex, thrilling, terrifying, unique, and powerful. This mystery was so intriguing and the location is so stunning. The characters are compelling, the scare factor blows my mind every time, and the ending always gets my heart pumping in the best way. In short, this game is a gothic dream. Number 2, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. The second Nancy Drew mystery I ever solved, and therefore one steeped in nostalgia. The location makes me feel right at home. I love the music. I love how the setting changes and grows over time. I love the exploration. It has just the right amount of puzzles. The culprit reveal is ridiculously exciting, and the scare factor is so on point. This game is glorious. And finally, my favorite Nancy Drew game of all time, number 1, Warnings at Waverly Academy. I love everything about this mystery. The flawless plot, the amazing location that we can fully explore, the characters, all of whom are interesting and developed, the ridiculously fun snack shop, the nighttime wanderings, the exciting plot twists, the literary connections, the changing seasons, and, most importantly, the realism that makes me connect so deeply to this case and makes me feel like I could truly be a detective. What's more beautiful than that, you might ask? Nothing. Nothing is more beautiful than that. So there you have it, fellow detectives, my personal ranking of the Nancy Drew games. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that I think, honestly, all of these games are amazing. There are some that I like more than others, but I do think that all of them have strengths and that the series as a whole is such an amazing endeavor. I definitely recommend that you play any of the Nancy Drew games, but if you're wondering which ones I would recommend first, now you know. Let me know down in the comments what you agree with and what you disagree with. Feel free to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more Nancy Drew content. Thank you so much for watching, fellow detectives. I will see you soon.